Hello there, welcome to lesson number 4 in our series on using FluidDesigner for 3D printing to create earrings. In today's lesson we're going to show you how you can use a combination of Nurbs Circles to create an earring. So if you start off as FluidDesigner, your opening screen should look something like this. We're doing learning projects, jewellery projects, earrings, and we're doing lesson number 4, so it's 04 Nurbs Circle earrings. And I'll just switch on the screencast key, so any key presses I make should be displayed in the panel there. And this is the final object that we're going to create, this kind of face type earring, and the earring clip would go through the hole there. And we're going to create it out of the object that's on the right hand side here. And this is a pre-built for you, and what we have is a combination of Nurbs circles. There are 5 Nurbs circles, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1 round the outside, and they've been linked together and changed to 2 dimensions so that you can actually create this earring quickly and easily. And if we go to Group Library, and that just refreshes the screen. Sometimes these images here are not displayed. And if you go to 3D templates and Nurbs circles, there are a number of different pre-built Nurbs circles for you there, which you can use to create pendants with, or other objects, depends upon your imagination. So the instructions are also in the help window here if you want to follow those rather than follow the video. So what do we want to do? Well, first of all, it's a good idea to go to view and view it from the top, so we're looking directly down on the object. But as you can see here, we're not quite looking directly down on this object, and the same is true for the one we're going to construct on the right hand side here, because what we are at the moment is we're in perspective mode. So what we need to do is we need to toggle from perspective mode to orthographic projection mode. And you'll see when we do that, and I'm just scrolling the center mouse button, now we really truly are looking down from the top of the object. So that's something to take note of. If you're in perspective mode, switch it across to ortho. You can work obviously in perspective mode, but we genuinely think it's a little bit easier in an ortho mode. Now another thing to take into account here is if I just scroll along the toolbar here, this icon here, this snap on, is switched on at the moment in this lesson. And what that means is if I grab this control point here, grab the green arrow and move the mouse, I can only move it in quite large increments. Now notice when I do that, the whole thing changes very strange. One of the things with these Nurbs circles is you can't overlap them, so you do need to come back in there. That, if we zoom in on that, that won't print very well at all. Okay, so we need to bring it back in. So what's happening is we've got the snap on at the moment, and this will only move 1 centimetre at a time because we're in centimetres at the moment. So one of the things we're going to have to do is to keep zooming in until this changes to millimetres. Now we can modify it 1 millimetre at a time. And the advantage of having the snap on is it makes it easier to make the eyes match up. So in other words, if I move that down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it's very easy to click on this control point and move it down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and therefore the two now match each other. Without the snap-on, you're playing around a bit. I mean, you can do, obviously, if you want a freehand appearance, that's fine. You switch the snap off. But we want it on in this lesson. Okay, so I've modified the top bit of the eyes there. I need to pull the bottom bit down to match these ones here. So if I just scroll the mouse in and zoom in, and I select that control point, I just want to pull that down. I'll pull it down twice, and I'll pull this one down twice, so they match now. And okay, so we need to do something similar to the mouth. We need to pull this bit down. We want this kind of heart-shaped mouth, so I'll just zoom in until the millimeters are in view, and I'll just pull that down a few places, and I'll pull that one down a few places, and just zoom out again. Yep, that looks about right. Okay, now clearly you can go on and make many more changes than this and come up with all sorts of shapes to suit yourself, or as I've already said, if in future you want to create a pendant, you can go to 3D templates, Nurbs Circles, and you can do it with 1 circle, 2 circles in the center, 3 circles in the center, 4 or 5. So you can pick and choose and modify them to suit you. Now once you're happy with the shape that you've got, we're currently in edit mode, so we need to come out of edit mode. So what we need to do is to press the tab key on the keyboard to come out of edit mode. Now this object here on the right hand side at the moment, if I just move it around, you can see that it's got no depth to it. Okay, so we need to add some depth to this object, and we do that in with Nurbs Circles with this sort of object by extruding it. So if I click on here and extrude it by 1 millimeter or 2 millimeters or 3 or 4, one of the things to note is that this value 2 millimeters is not the actual thickness of the object. If I click on the main information icon, you can see that the Z value at the moment, the thickness of this is 4 millimeters. And so it's curved data information icon for the extrude. What's actually happening is that the extrude is 2 millimeters above the grid and 2 millimeters below the grid, giving you a total thickness of 4 millimeters. So if you've got a particular thickness in mind, you do need to take that into account. Now the other thing is, if we zoom in on this one here, you'll see that this edge here, this edge is what's called beveled. Okay, so instead of having a sharp edge, yeah, we've got a beveled edge on this object. And we can add a bevel edge to our new object by changing the bevel depth. Now if we do this as 1 millimeter, you can see we get quite a hefty bevel there, and if we do 2, it'll look even stranger and fill the holes in. Okay, so the bevel, usually we want a value something like, and I'm going to type this in, 0.2 millimeters. So if this is 2 millimeters, something like 0.2 millimeters is probably an appropriate bevel. And notice it's not just beveled it here, it's beveled it on the inside here as well, and on these faces up here, and on the bottom of the object. So it's beveled it all the way around. That just takes the sharpness away from the edge of the object. Okay, so there's our earring shape now using Nurbs Circles. And what we need to do now is to convert this object from a curve. Nurbs Circles are curves. Okay, we need to change that into a mesh object, and we do that in FluidDesigner by going to Tools, Object Tools, and converting it to a mesh. And there's our Nurbs circle now. And so what we want to do next is to delete the original object. So we can highlight that and press X on the keyboard and delete. And if we highlight our new object again today, that we've created today, what we can do is to save this. So if we go to File and Save As, don't use Save in FluidDesigner, just go up through the menu system, and it's a Jewellery Project Earrings, and it's lesson 04 Nurbs Circle Earring, and we save that as a Blender file. Now we can't print Blender files, so we do need to export this in a printable file format, and we do also really need to check this in NetFab Basic. It's very likely there's going to be some issues with this because of the way FluidDesigner works, but if we go to File and export it as a wavefront object, We'll export it to the desktop as 04 Nurbs Circle earrings as an object file. And then if we go to Netfab Basic and go to Project and Open, and go to the desktop and open Lesson 04 Nurbs Circle earrings, you can see, yeah, that's what I was expecting. We've got a warning red triangle there, and it's telling us that there are some issues with this object, and it's just because of the way FluidDesigner works. So what we want to do is to go to Extras and repair the part, and you can see all these yellow lines around the object. That's telling us that there are some issues, and if I just move the window across and if I click Update, you can see what the problems are. We've got 3,840 border edge problems and 40 holes. Now you don't need to panic about this. FluidDesigner does create these objects for you, but it doesn't tie them together 100% and make them watertight and 100% printable. But not to worry, Netfab will fix that for us. So if we just click Automatic Repair and execute the repair, and then just click on Update, you'll see Netfab has fixed it all for us. We've got no border edge problems, no orientation problems, no holes, and we've got one shell now. And something to watch out for sometimes is things like this small hole at the top here. Could be filled in by Netfab sometimes. It hasn't done, so you do need to watch out for that sometimes. So have a look around, but that looks okay. It looks like the object that we've created. Netfab has clearly triangulated all of these faces as well. They weren't created in FluidDesigner, and around the edges. So what we need to do is to apply the repair and remove any old parts, and you can see our warning red triangle has gone now. We have got a line across there, but I wouldn't worry about that. I'm pretty sure that's going to be okay. So if we go to Part and export the part as a wavefront object, we can save it to the desktop, and we save it as Nurbs Circle earrings repaired, and that is the file that you would send to the printer. Okay, so that's the end of today's lesson. We've created this kind of face type earring using Nurbs Circles. Thank you.